Welcome back to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with today's Wednesday Wisdom guest, but first let's hear from our podcast sponsors that make this all possible. We want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire athletic program. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack also connects you with the 95% of the parents and the student athletes that really love your program. And it gives them a voice to help demonstrate the importance that a positive athletic experience has for them. Go to athleticsurveys.com and check out their testimonials, and then give them a call at 1-800-738-6466, or you can email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Talk to the folks at Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack and let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. Over 200,000 teams use Huddle to help their athletes perform better using video and analytics. Huddle is the complete performance platform. They have online tools, smart cameras like the Huddle Focus. They've always had analytics, but there's so much more. Huddle's also built for every level of play, from club and youth teams all the way through high school and college programs, and even the pros use Huddle to help their teams perform at the highest level. You're in pretty good company with over 6 million users, including your student athletes and the coaches of the college teams you're trying to get to recruit them. If you want to find out more about what Huddle can do for you and your program and how your school can become a Huddle school, go to huddle.com and talk to their professionals. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. We also want to say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and see how coaches, schools, and athletic directors are creating world-class marketing content for their school's social media channels. Create custom branded content in seconds on any device and without needing any design experience. It's so easy, even I can do it. Once again, go to Gipper.com and start creating world-class content for your school. We also want to say thanks to Final Forms. Final Forms is the industry leader in registration, but Final Forms is more than just forms. Final Forms is a team, it's technology, and they provide schools with compliance, communication, and risk management solutions. Final Forms can help your stakeholders with mobile accessibility, and it has reminders for parents about policies and physicals and all the forms that come with athletics. Final Forms can also help with team communication and attendance, and even certification management for coaches. And for athletic directors, Final Forms can help with eligibility, with rosters, and all the reports that come across your desk. And it does this with secure language translation and ADA compliance. You know, it's time for you to talk to a team that's walked in your shoes. To take the next steps and find out what Final Forms can do for you, go to finalforms.com/Jake. That's finalforms.com/Jake to get started on the Final Forms team. We also want to thank Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. You know, they're on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They've got a variety of interactive touchscreen consoles and an entire library of templates to help recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. Let them help you showcase your school's diverse history and your proudest moments, and go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. You can also call them at 614-981-3589 or email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. Let them help you bring your school's legacy to life. And we want to thank Sideline Interactive for their support. Sideline Interactive's indoor scoring tables and video boards can not only generate money for your department, but they also create the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or call 832-786-0302 and schedule a live web demo to see their tables and boards in action. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com and see exactly what these fantastic products can do for you. That's sales@sidelineinteractive.com. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom. We've got a new member of our Wednesday Wisdom team, Elisha De Jesus. She's the Director of Athletics, Activities, Physical Education, and Health at the Middletown School District in Connecticut. She was a podcast guest, and we started talking, and she very graciously decided to join our Wednesday Wisdom team. So, Elisha, welcome back to Wednesday Wisdom.
How are we doing, Jake? It's great to be back. Another opportunity to speak with you, and just feel very lucky to be able to do so. So thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, we appreciate you sharing your time and your wisdom with us. Again, this is your first time on Wednesday Wisdom. We've been doing these for several months now, but basically, I'll say to our guests, what do you got for us this week? So, Elisha, what do you got for us on Wednesday Wisdom?
So I kind of wanted to just give a little bit of a background story. If our listeners heard about a little bit of my story earlier this week, I am heavily involved in a lot of DEI work at the national level with the NIAAA, within the state of Connecticut, in our state organization, and then within our the league that I'm a part, that Middletown is a part of, the CCC. The biggest league in Connecticut with 32 districts. But I wanted to start today with, we're doing a lot of work on diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think a lot of we can't forget about that B. And a lot of us in Nomad, in the organization that I'm a part of with Nomad, we talk a lot about belonging and what that means. And a background story for me as far as belonging, if you remember when I spoke, a week ago, it took me a little longer to get my feet wet at the national level, at the state level and the national level. But I had an opportunity. My district has been great as far as giving me the opportunity to go to our national AD conference every year. And my first year here in Middletown, my first conference was Maryland. And Tammy Schondelmeyer, who you had as a guest a couple weeks ago, she is actually an AD in the conference in Connecticut, the same conference that I am. So I'm very, very good friends with Tammy. She actually just retired, so congratulations to Tammy after 21 years of being an athletic director. So that conference, I walk in and this is like deer in headlights. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. I'm ready for all the PD that I'm going to get. I see all these folks and like-minded people. We have the same, not obviously everybody doesn't have the same responsibilities as an athletic administrator, but we kind of understand each other, right? But I kind of felt like I looked around and I just didn't feel like I belonged. To be quite honest, I didn't feel like I belonged. I was, in the Gaylord Hotel, which is huge. And Tammy took me under her wing and she introduced me to some people. She introduced me to some folks that she had met throughout her going to the conferences. And those people quickly became my friends. And I mean, California, Cleveland, Virginia, just all over, and we started that networking. We started that. And right from the get-go, I felt a sense of belonging, and it was, first 6 months, I was like, oh, what is happening right now? But then I got to the national convention, the national conference, and Tammy got me under her wing and introduced me to all these people. And I was a part of something. And there was a space for me where I felt like I could go in and be myself. So that was really, really important to me. And it really paved the way for me. And in the last 8 years, each time we had a conference, we were going to get together and we had something set in stone of what we were going to do as far as the group of people that I had met at that first conference. And it really helped me in kind of getting out of my shell. Again, it took me a little bit longer, at the national, with the organizations and whatnot. But those 8 years were so important with those friendships that I made, the networking that I was able to do, and meet others among the group was just so huge. And I felt good. I felt good in my position. Here in Connecticut, I'm the first female athletic director here for our district. I'm the first Latina athletic director for female Latina in our district. And there are things that I have to fight for that I would say that some of my other counterparts don't have to fight for, just because of the way that I look. So, it was a blessing to have a group of folks that supported me and helped me along my way towards in the beginning stages.
Again, I want to make sure I say this correctly. Obviously, the challenges that you faced as new to the profession, a woman, Latina, all those things, okay, led to that feeling of hey, do I belong? And this is where it might come off weird. So help me out with this.
Yeah.
As an older, in his 50s, white guy, when I attended my first conference, I was feeling the same way. Geez, I don't know anybody, and look at all these things going on. But there were people for me, just like for you, that hey, Jake, come to this meeting or come to this dinner. And I think that's one of the great things about our profession. Just as men and women and people, that you're part of this group. And of course, there's additional groups and subgroups and friendships and all those things that you talked about. Your little group that I've actually been working my way through as interviews from Lisa Montgomery. Okay.
Yep.
And so I think that's one of the takeaways for me. Like I said, this old white guy, that our profession I think does a really good job with that. Can we get better? Absolutely. 100% we need to get better. And I think that's some of the things that you're going to be talking about today.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I really appreciate you opening up your heart and sharing that experience, because I can imagine it was pretty tough.
Yeah, for sure. And I think and then I look at that story and how I started, and I think about our students, right? You think about, do we have spaces for our students? Are our coaches inclusive? Are they creating, spaces that are comfortable? Like what are their practices? What are their policies? So it's important for us here to get that data to inform our decisions, moving forward, and making sure the spaces that we've created for our coaches and our student athletes are, spaces where they feel safe, they feel a sense of belonging, and they feel included in everything that we do. So that story for me personally helps me grow and be better for in my position at Middletown. If I can share my screen, I know that folks listening won't be able to see this, but I will go over. Let me see. All right. So can you see this?
Yes, I can see that.
All right. So for the folks that can see it, awesome. If not, what I've just shared is what is called a social location. And I learned about this in an activity that I did with Nomad. As you can see here, the National Organization of Minority Athletic Directors. I am a board member and the treasurer for the organization. And we did a book study early on, in our, once the organization started, we wanted to give out different resources and do webinars. And one of the things we did was a book study. And through the book study, Carolyn Sadeko out of California, somebody who I met through Nomad, she told us about this activity. So we had to get to know everybody in the book study by doing our own social location. So there's pictures up on this slide of me, and a social location is where we are socially located in society and the lens we use to define, explain, and understand the world we live in. My social location represents my intersectionalities within society. So I have pictures, and my theme, I think, if I'm looking at this, and for those that can't see it, is family. I have a work family at Middletown where it's my student athletes, my coaches, our coaches, staff, colleagues. I have a Marist family. I went to Marist. I'm a Marist Red Fox from Poughkeepsie, New York for college. And I have a really close family within, and that we still hang out every year. We have an annual trip that we do. My peoples, right? I have a picture of my family, both my parents and then my brother, very close. And, if you listened last week, they were a huge part in my success early on, and helping me grow and be better and be in the profession that I'm in. And then I have my Bada family, which is kind of what I was talking about earlier, a picture of my Bada family. And I'll tell you what Bada means in a minute. But Tammy's the one that introduced me to this Bada group. And this was one of our earlier dinners, this picture. Can't remember where it was at, but it wasn't Maryland. It might have been Orlando. I think that was at my second conference. And there's Carlos Reed, Kevin G. Adams. We got Greg from Ohio area, Elena DeSantis from Cali, Danielle she's in New York now, Anthony Thomas, a lot of great athletic directors. And this is my Bada family. And before Nomad, it was Bada. And Bada stands for Black Athletic Directors Association. So we created our own little kind of bubble. And it was it was very inclusive. But this is like the core group. This is what I like to say, the core group. So the people that I've obviously have said their names, they're in the picture. I also have Puerto Rico, the flag of Puerto Rico, because I am from the beautiful island of Puerto Rico. And then Luquillo Beach is a well-known beach in Puerto Rico. It is the beach that my family goes to every single time we visit. And then I have a picture of me playing basketball in Puerto Rico with the unitard. Yes, that is a unitard that we have on. That is what we had to wear back in that time. But it was another great experience. I went to East Hartford High. So that's the logo for East Hartford High right here in high school. Obviously, I went to Marist. I am an ally for the Black Lives Matter movement. And I am a member of the LGBTQ plus community. So I love to put this out there. I learned from this, and I think this is a great activity when you are trying to get to know, some colleagues of yours or your student athletes. As a coach, like, what are you doing? Because we know coaching is just not coaching these days, right? There's a lot more to it. And how are you getting to know your student athletes? So I wanted to share this because it really helped me learn more about myself, and it helped me learn the other members that were in that book study. And I was able to look through a lens that was, inclusive and really opening myself up to learn about different people. And obviously this makes us better at what we do. So it's called the social location. And let me know if you want to know more about it. Carolyn Sadico, shout out to her for introducing this to me.
I mean, as I'm looking at that, I'm literally having flashbacks to my own college course as an undergraduate, where the professor had us do a similar activity. And then becoming a health and PE teacher myself, did the same thing with my health classes. And it's just such a great way, as you said, to get to know people that are in that smaller group, find out some things that just probably aren't going to come out in the regular conversation. So absolutely, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, no, thank you for letting me share. Let me stop sharing here. And I think, when you say sense of belonging, one of the things that we've heard, Kevin G. Adams says it all the time, and something that I'm saying a lot is, getting invited to the party. It's not just about getting invited to the party. It's about being asked to dance as well. So there's like another layer to that. Yeah. And, my friends will tell you that I love to dance. So, so it's just, I think it's very important. It's not just about, being invited to the table. Like, we want to hear your input. We want to hear your suggestions. And, you know, knowing that it's important for me, yeah, I'm invited, but now what am I going to bring to it? Like, I'm here, but I need to speak up and advocate and push and, you know, take some risks. And these are all things that I've learned in the last couple of years, you know, being on the NIAAA DEI committee, being a part of Nomad, and then our, you know, our committee that is within the league that I'm in as well.
Yeah, again, just a great reminder for all of us about, you know, the power that we have as leaders with our coaches, you know, with our student athletes, and, you know, with our peers. I love, you saw me chuckling. I love, you know, your turn of phrase there. It's not just about getting invited to the party; it's getting asked to dance too. You know, very good stuff. Elisha, we'll do this at the end, but I want to get it in. If one of our listeners wants to reach out, pick your brain a little bit more about Nomad or the other activities, what's the best way they can get a hold of you?
That would be my work email. So it's DeJesus, DeJesus at mpsct.org. So DeJesus at mpsct.org.
Elisha De Jesus from Middletown Public Schools in Connecticut and NIAAA's DEI committee. Thanks so much for sharing with us today and opening your heart. Some really cool stuff.
Thank you. It was, I enjoyed, you know, talking about a little bit about me personally and kind of how it's helped me get to where I'm at and helped really and benefited our student athletes and, you know, all the stakeholders that we work with.
Well, again, for our listeners, Alicia's joining our team of Wednesday Wisdom experts. And when we have her back in about 10 weeks, she's going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into some of the programs and activities that she mentioned today. So again, we do Wednesday Wisdom every week. Also, the Zoom recordings are uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening today. Come back again just about every day for new content on the Educational AD Podcast, and we'll see you next time on Wednesday Wisdom. We want to thank all of our sponsors that contribute to Wednesday Wisdom and the Educational AD Podcast. We'll go and start with Final Forms, the industry leader in registration. Final Forms can help your parents, your coaches, and you as an AD in areas like mobile accessibility, certification management for coaches, rosters, reports, and it does this with secure language and ADA compliance. Go to finalforms.com/Jake to get started with the Final Forms team. We also want to thank Gipper. Gipper is the way that athletic directors can create custom branded content for their school's social media accounts. And it's so simple, even I can do it. Go to Gipper.com for more information on how to start creating custom branded content for your school's social media. We also want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive. Their indoor scoring tables and video boards can generate income for your department and also create the ultimate game day experience. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or shoot them an email at sales@sidelineinteractive.com for more information. We also want to say thanks to Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. Our state association, the FIAAA, has a Wall of Fame console for our organization's Hall of Fame, and it's really cool. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com or send them an email to sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com to find out how they can help you showcase your school's diverse history and your proudest moments. Again, that's vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to thank Huddle. As a head football coach, I used Huddle, and as an athletic director, our school was a Huddle school. Our coaches and programs just loved the programmable cameras, the analytics, and it was a tremendous asset to our athletic department. Go to huddle.com and find out how they can help your school and your programs. We also want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. They're a quick way for you to collect data that helps you evaluate and improve your entire athletic program. Send them an email to info@athleticsurveys.com to get started and let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. And we want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com to find out more. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing. Thanks again to all of our sponsors. We'll see you next time on Wednesday Wisdom as part of the Educational AD Podcast.